Today it's road trip time with the BMW iX3 and very important questions of could this really be our next vehicle? Is it also suitable for our needs even long term? And we will drive this one way, 550 kilometers, 340 miles from the west part of Germany to the capital, to Berlin. One way, like a combustion engine. So we're driving this electric SUV, just don't caring if it's electric or not. As for the speed, also really drive very fast, left lane and so on. Then do a charging test. Does it work very well as well? And on the way back, actually, we go the other approach, drive more efficient and see if we can maybe even score that length, that long road trip without charging. So very interesting things here today, and also the iX3 here in the base version. So really close to that 70,000 euros entry-level version with the big battery here already, but no M Sport and hardly any extra equipment. And very important, the smallest wheels for the best efficiency. So very interesting things here coming up right now, and also drawing comparisons to the existing BMW X3 plug-in hybrid we're driving. How are the differences there? Then also the main competitors here, the Mercedes GLC EQ, which I've recently driven, now can also draw better comparisons, and also the Volvo EX60, because these other two, we are also thinking about moving to these two. So at this moment, we are totally open, also gathering some offerings from the dealers, and see how the BMW iX3 scores in the long-term real-world test here today as for the concise range and what's good and what is maybe not so good with this vehicle. We also focus on these things that are maybe missing with the iX3 here today. So tune in now to Autogefühl with Thomas in 4K, full screen, full length, and of course also with Leah, especially on the long-term Autobahn trip. Let's go. And here the iX3 has no M Sport package. So that means you don't have high gloss black here in the front. So this is then here the normal black plastic, so to speak. It's not that obvious because this is also the sapphire black color. So if you would have a white color, for example, it would become even more obvious that you don't have the M Sport package. But here it's, so to speak, less contrast. I think when you have the black color, it doesn't make the biggest difference actually. Then here the iconic glow, the illuminated double kidney, this option is spec'd with this vehicle. But really, this vehicle has like 3 or 4 options, and that's basically it. And here, so important for today's test, these are the 20-inch wheels, the base wheels, and with 255 millimeters wide tires. So these are also the small tires. So the front is always 255 and 20-inch. But the logic here with the iX3 is if you go for 21-inch wheels, you can have the same width or already the 275 in the rear. But these here are also the 255 in the rear. And then the 22-inch wheels would always be 275 in the rear. So last time we had the 22-inch wheels and scored some 20 kilowatt hours or 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour at 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour, and then 25 kilowatt hours at 130 kilometers an hour. So I'm really looking forward to today's test. How much less consumption can we score with these smaller tires? And will they actually enable us to do this 550 kilometers or 340 miles trip really, like in driving normal speeds, but without charging? And then, as I said, the first way, really hammering it through on the German Autobahn, really driving fast, and then maybe put one charging test. And also, which trip is faster? Is it faster when we go really, really fast? Then charge, go fast again? Or is it actually the same time, or maybe faster or slower when we drive a little bit more efficient but don't charge? So we'll all find out more about that. Then here in the rear, the light signature. This is actually pretty cool. I like it. And by the way, here, this is the full rear signature, and the top part after a while somehow dissolves for, I don't know, energy savings or something. However, the turning indicator, I think, is really, really tiny, too tiny for such a car. And then again, if you don't have M Sport package, you have here the normal plastic elements in the lower part. And this is also high gloss black here, but with the M Sport again, you would have this diffuser style and much more high gloss black. Honestly, I have to say, this vehicle works very well. Also in the base trim, you do not necessarily need the M Sport. And charging flap is here on the passenger side in the rear. And On paper, it does 21 minutes, 10 to 80% state of charge, 400 kilowatt DC peak. It's an electric charging flap of this 108.7 kilowatt hour battery. And now, most recent news, BMW has now released the figures of the rear-wheel drive entry-level model with the smaller battery. So the smaller battery is 82.6 kilowatt hours, also recharges from 10 to 80% in 21 minutes, maximum 300 kilowatt peak. WLTP figure is 635 kilometers, so that's on the official paper like 170 kilometers less. However, it will also probably be a little bit more efficient since it only has this one electric motor in the rear. And the acceleration figure of the iX3 40, as it's called, 320 horsepower, is 5.9 seconds. So it's actually only 1 second slower in the acceleration figure in comparison to the all-wheel drive model you see here, the iX3 50 xDrive. Gotta say though, at an entry price, for example here in the German one, of 36,000 euros 400, that's only about 5,500 euros less expensive than the bigger battery. And for that price, and especially when you then maybe have the leasing rate difference, it's probably not worth it not to go for the big battery. Quick look in the trunk already, or the boot. The full measurements you can check out in the other reviews we have, like we have three other videos meanwhile. Here I just want to show you our travel setup. When we push here the cabin trolleys and the backpack all the way to the back, see here how much fits in the trunk, like in the realistic way, and then there's still space in the front, and here underneath we have still, you know, put some like bigger jackets, you know, like warm jackets in case we need them. So you see, even for a family of 4, this will be enough luggage already. And as said, the full measurements and so on, how we can store the trunk cover in our other reviews. Quickly take a look on the interior here, on this spec here today, and then we'll go to the German Autobahn. Classic key fob, or just use your phone with the app, open, close, climate features, remote, and so on. And you can see here in...
And quickly, new German lesson. Alles okay.
Alles okay. Everything all right. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, like E17. And then here, these door handles here come towards you when you open the vehicle. They're also illuminated, by the way. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it. We had this topic for a very long time already. And in China, they will already offer a new solution because they will forbid this solution. Then here, door closing sound. That's fine. Yeah, it's strange that we had some vehicles where it wasn't that good, but with this one, it's actually pretty good. So, and then here, inside, this is the red interior. Don't have to go for it one. Different styles are available, but here already soft touch in the doors and so on. And it's better interior build quality than the BMW X3, for example, and classic controls here of the window levers. And here, this is the electric one, but also the manual release in case. Not covered here at the inside of the door. So I would wish for some fabric here, definitely. That is missing. Then the entry sill badge right there, and once again the red interior and the steering wheel. This base steering wheel, we haven't seen this one. Vertical spoke, not everyone is a fan of it. This one without the perforation, but these are great here. Like, you can grab in like this. That makes so much fun while driving. And then illuminated buttons, for example, to activate the automated parking and so on. Option, you can get the sports steering wheel, then here with perforation and a little bit thicker vertical spokes. And optional, you can also get the spokes here with the M Sport steering wheel, also with perforation. The latter one we would probably pick them because it looks most normal. Great material, it's an animal-free material, highest quality, and also for the seats. It's super soft, super plush, and very comfortable. Here also for the sit bone area, and you can get these in white, in black, and so on. These are the comfort seats. Optional, the sport seats with this integrated head restraint style. And the sport seats are more comfortable in the shoulder area. However, these here, the comfort seats, are more comfortable in the sit bone area. These here are also more comfortable than the X3 seats we currently have, gotta say that. And as a base version in Europe, you could also get the fabric seats, which is also a good idea. They look cool, and at this moment, they do not offer seat ventilation for the iX3 yet. They are working on it. It will not come with the next facelift or something. It will come with a model year change, but we don't know exactly yet which model year it will be. My estimation would be maybe someone in 2027. that would be my estimation when it happens. We'll keep you updated with that because at this moment we also think, hey, why should you switch from an X3 plug-in hybrid where we have seat ventilation to an iX3 where we don't have that? You know, doesn't make sense. But the demand already showed them that they have to retrofit this then very, very soon. And yeah, I really have to say, in comfort, the seats, class or segment leading, because better than the X3 combustion engine. They are also more comfortable than the ones in the GLC EQ. Also more comfortable, so because the sit bone area is more plush and it's also the softer material than in the GLC EQ, and also compared to the Volvo EX60. Doesn't mean the other ones are bad, but this one, you know, sets the barrier even a little bit higher. So that's pretty cool. But we also do have some features where the GLC and the Volvo are leading here the iX3. Because, for example, the GLC EQ and the Volvo EX60, again, depending on the trim, the EX60 only in the cross-country version that comes later, they offer air suspension as an option, whereas that's not available here in the iX3. We are waiting the adaptive suspension at a later stage. However, the base suspension here is also very good, but it doesn't deliver you like this very soft driving comfort what you would have with the GLC EQ with the air suspension, or the EX60 cross country. When you can order it, the ordering times, you know, are very, very long for the EX60, even longer than here for the iX3 at this moment, because there's also been like such a high demand for this car. And also the Mercedes and the Volvo sound systems are better. Mercedes has the Burmester optionally, and the Volvo has the optional Bowers & Wilkins sound system, and they are indeed better than even the optional Harman Kardon sound system we have here in the BMW iX3. So you see, all these vehicles have their distinct features. Yeah, GLC EQ also has rear axle steering as an option. That is such a helpful feature. However, we're going to say here in the iX3, better to maneuver than the X3 plug-in hybrid because the wheels turn in more, so you can easier ease this vehicle around tight areas than the X3 plug-in hybrid. Also a very interesting finding. From the cockpit layout, Mercedes, Volvo, BMW, all very different. But I think the good approach here is that this panoramic vision, which is on the one hand futuristic, but it gives you the long focus for the digital instruments. This one is also not equipped with a head-up display. You could optionally get one, but it looks actually cleaner, and because it's far away, I don't actually need a head-up display. Leah just said, I would still like one. She could still get one if she wants, no problem. And it's also in the package together with the Harman Kardon sound system, so then we would anyway get this one, you know. Yeah, and then here the infotainment system moves closer to you. That makes it easy to change the temperature, even though it's sadly not physical. It's easy to reach, you know, close to the steering wheel. Whereas with the Mercedes, everything is like together in this area. So you have close focus to the digital instruments, and the infotainment unit to change something is also far away then. It's interesting. And Volvo again is something in between, so to speak, you know. So very interesting, these different approaches. And here definitely the build quality is better in comparison to the BMW X3 combustion engine. Also here everything is covered and so on. We have fabric insets here. In the i3, the sedan, you will get the leatherette covers here, except in the M Sport trim. But then in the M Sport trim you can optionally go back again to the leatherette cover. I also talked to the project leader of the Neue Klasse and said that you guys gave the feedback, hey, you also want some leatherette insert for the iX3, and he said that, yeah, it's a good point. They'll note that down, and maybe this will also then change for some model year update or a facelift or something, that you can then also get the leatherette surface. It looks nice, it's also cool, but some customer wishes are of course a little bit different. Headroom here with 189, 6x2, no problem. And then here it's also soft for your elbow, some space underneath, but not too much actually. And in the front, inductive charging left side, cables are on the right side. For me, really the best things about this one is, I think I like the cockpit layout, like the logic, and the best seating comfort. And then, as I said, the Mercedes has the advantage that it has like most features, like with air suspension, rear axle steering. That one already offers the seat cooling, but not for all seats. For example, if you pick the microfiber or the fabric seats, it's not available, just like if you go for the Article leatherette. And the Volvo Also pretty cool with the different battery choices, also large battery available, whereas the Mercedes has the smaller battery, the smallest of these three actually, if you compare the biggest batteries each. So you see, it's getting really tough, but these three, I really like this trio, you know. So we'll also check out the offerings from the dealers, what leasing rate they can give us, and then also decide probably about these three. Unless there might be from some of these three manufacturers a bigger vehicle coming up. But which is secret so far. Guess in the comments. We are not allowed to talk about this yet. But there might be something else coming up, and we'll keep you updated with that as soon as possible. Quickly just step into the rear. I think Leah has already prepared some drinks and some food for us, so we'll get this one on the front seat. So quickly to the rear that you can see how much space we have here. There we go. And there's a lot of space here, although I'm driving. And that's also better if you compare to the X3 plug-in hybrid version, for example, we have. And from the feet also not, you know, they're not too high because it's a much of an electric SUV, and headroom also no problem. And it's also very comfortable here in the rear. And now we want to hit the road, and here from the western part of Germany to Berlin, it shows actually for these 550 kilometers or 340 miles, the car wants to do one charging stop here. So let's say after the 1/3 of the road for 8 minutes only. And then we're supposed to reach our destination with 10% here at the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin. So yeah, very interesting. This is the first approach what the car is suggesting. Doesn't mean that you have to do it, but you could. And here let's see how easy is this automatic parking feature. I just pressed once here on the left side of the steering wheel, and then I can switch it here actually between the different parking slots here. Let's maybe this or maybe this, and then just like this, release the brake. And to me, I honestly gotta say, before I have rather not used these features because they were maybe sometimes too complicated to activate, and it was sometimes too extreme, this experience. Like maybe it was quick, but you were shaking around. But here, the cool thing is it's easy to activate and it is so smooth. So the car actually parks smoother than you would do that yourself automatically. And it's quick, but it's not too fast. So
the stop is great.
It's great. Yeah, also the smooth stop. So I think it's the calibration what makes it so good. And as I said, it's easy to activate and it's quicker than you would probably do it yourself, but not too quick that you feel like, you know, you're getting sick from, for example, the Tesla system also works great, but it's sometimes so wild and shaking you around. But this one is exactly the calibration we need, and that makes it so attractive that you can also like want to use it. And very important now, here personal assistant, then routines, and then begin of the journey. You can set the EU speed chime warning to off, that always, you know, is off. You have to confirm it, soon I'm going to show you. Or for example, that seat heating is, or steering wheel heating is on when you start the vehicle. So you can do that, yeah, even on different levels. And how does it work? So when I just start the vehicle basically, and then when I just hit the brake there in the front, in the panoramic vision, there we go. The routine says, so just activate it, yes or no. Then you have to confirm with OK, and OK is in the middle of this crosshair. Thank you, Leah, and that's it. And the alternative would be here, pressing this button. So that would be the alternative to deactivate it. Now we start the driving and...
Woo, road trip time!
Yeah, road trip time! A little bit of city traffic and so on, and before we go to the motorway actually. And I mean, it's not a too large vehicle. It still fits in here in the traffic and it's super smooth. The thing is that suspension-wise, yes.
It's a little bit rough and sporty. Yeah.
Still a bit sporty and rough. In comparison, for example, GLC EQ, where you could get the air suspension, that's more like a floaty ride. That drives better in that way.
But 20-inch wheels, pick that one. Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely, it's better. Yeah.
Yeah, because last time we had 22-inch on the iX3, and here with the 20-inch, it drives way better.
Yeah.
More smooth, more comfort from the wheels then, because here we have the standard suspension, the adaptive suspension available later, and also if we compare the X3 plug-in hybrid, we have the adaptive suspension and 19-inch wheels. This one is still a little bit rougher with 20-inch wheels and standard suspension, but this one still drives much better than the X3 combustion engine.
Yeah. You feel one with the vehicle. Yeah, that's a feeling that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like here the steering wheel.
Yeah,
you have good,
and how
good
you
grip
can
on,
grab it. That's really nice. Yeah.
and something like the acceleration and the stopping process is so extremely smooth. Everything flows, kinda, and you, as Dia said, you feel one with the vehicle. With a lot of other vehicles, like you do something and then you lag behind with your body, basically. But here, it's like, I do this and the car and the body does the same movement at the very same second. And you feel it both as a driver and also as a passenger. That's really amazing. And also here, this very elaborated assistance systems. We are in the construction site here now, so let's see what the car does. It also stops automatically at the red traffic light, by the way. You're still responsible, but it does do that. And also in a very smooth and elaborated way. And soon when we drive a little bit faster, then we can also do this hands-off feature that, the car is taking over. Basically, you're still responsible, but you can take your hands off the steering wheel, And here, in this construction site, super smooth here also. I'm basically doing nothing at this moment.
And I don't feel scared or something.
Yeah,
I feel safe now. Yeah.
It's crazy
but
how
sometimes you feel very unsafe when some vehicles are shaky then, and
Now the speed is being recognized, like the increased speed, automatically
also
adjusts
smooth.
the speed. Yeah, we had sometimes situations that when you have like the adaptive cruise control, the car accelerates too hard, it brakes too hard.
And I was like, Thomas,
She was always saying, cancel that, please
Cancel
drive
that.
yourself.
Yeah.
But here now you would say like, let the car drive?
Yeah, really, yeah.
Okay,
Good
then
car.
I'm gone, Yeah, that's really something, that this vehicle really reaches the skill level of
a human.
Of good drivers.
Yes.
And even goes beyond that sometimes, in the smoothness process. And this is really something extraordinary.
I do miss a little bit the air suspension from the GLC. I miss it.
Yeah.
I'm honest with you. I miss it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really the thing. If you look at that, also like fast corner with 80 and super smooth. So if you say like, hey, what else do we wish for this car? Yeah, this the seat ventilation, which is hopefully coming soon. A better sound system like the Burmester in the Mercedes, and the air suspension. That would be really cool. And rear axis steering, that would be also nice. But then again, the iX3 has something that the GLC EQ doesn't have. Like better seating comfort and this more feeling unified with the vehicle. The bigger battery.
Systems maybe here.
Assistance systems are the best.
Yeah.
Are the best, without doubt. At the moment, industry leading. That's really. I mean, they're all good, also in the Mercedes, right? But this one even goes a step beyond that, and we can soon also show you like the next step beyond that. But I mean, this is here like the traffic situation with this construction site. Something where you rather don't feel so much at home in a vehicle, but here we are like super relaxed.
Sometimes really stressful here for me.
Exactly. But we are feeling really relaxed now, and I just let the car do its thing, and it's doing that in a so sophisticated way, and we can just say, okay, this is not fun to drive.
We can sleep both.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's see here now, speed. Yeah, it's picking up instantly. Now I can also accelerate above that. And usually like when there's like this construction site thing, then some assistance systems drop out and say like, I won't do that in that way. Wow. And
cool.
At 100, like here at 80, 90, it's still very silent.
Yeah, even in the city, that's very, very silent,
Some booming noises.
You need to...
Maybe. I think you have to. Let's see if the car is doing a lane change for me.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. I did.
We are only in 2026.
Yeah.
But the future is
The future is here. Yeah, I did that here with the indicator right now. When you are in this top
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, no, dropped out.
Hmm.
See, that can also happen. So don't trust it 100%.
Yeah.
But not sure why I did that now. Maybe because the lines
of the lines and maybe the exit.
Maybe it was
It
also
was not
saying.
sure because of.
I don't know. But that's why we're here to test. So you have these moments where you're like, wow, this is like super well done. But you see, there can also be some moments which are still irritating. So you always have to be on your toes, that you can still take it over yourself in case you need to. So but definitely good to know. And we'll soon now, when we drive a little bit faster, also start our first efficiency tests.
Yes.
These are perfect conditions for EV today. It's not too
Sunny
cold,
and
not too
what
hot.
is it? 50 or 60? Oh, 80
18 degrees. That's perfect for the battery. It's really perfect, and dry road and everything. And these 20-inch wheels. So we can really recommend these 20-inch wheels if you go for iX3. Get them for the best comfort, especially when the adaptive suspension is not yet available. So that's definitely a clever thing to do. And acceleration is also fine. Yes, it's not the quickest one. The GLC EQ is faster there.
It's enough, yeah.
It's fine, 4.9 seconds. Now it says like the Autobahn Assistent is available. Jawohl. Listen and repeat. Der Autobahn Assistent. So this is the Autobahn or motorway assistant. And that means now I can do this.
When you see these
green
lines here, then you can take off the hands.
Leah, meanwhile, knows more about cars than I do. Confirm. So, and now we can basically go drive to Berlin without me intervening, hopefully. And that's
tested,
super impressive, super impressive.
And I'm really excited for charging as well. Yeah.
Yes. Let's see also then soon what we can do, like 10 to 80% state of charge. I will not take like exactly what suggested before, because we really want to show you like how quick is the charging. And let's see here, as soon as there's like freeway, then the car is also suggesting me I could look into the mirror to change the lane. But this is of course something where the assistance system is a little bit more careful than we would maybe be. So we could say,
but it's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, the car has to be really sure about this. So because we say, there's like a gap and like on the throttle and I'm in there, The assistance system is saying like, I'm a little bit more careful, and maybe now that car is too close to, I think. So there's like a certain minimum distance that it has to have. Now after this yellow Astra is gone. Now, okay, now it's suggested I'm looking into the side mirror and now the car did the lane. It's like magic, right? It's like
cool,
and it's like the adaptation is really so nicely done. It's super smooth. So kudos to that.
Yes.
And
now I'm enjoying my matcha latte.
Oh yeah, she brought some, for the road trip here.
And enjoy the drive.
Some self-made matcha. And this is really you can enjoy being driven in this vehicle.
Yes.
Really, that's really a thing. So driving-wise, I think the only thing I'm missing is air suspension and
maybe the rear axle
steering for narrow situations and
for the parking garage. Then, but here the turning from the wheels is also good.
Yeah, like not the inclination, like how the wheels turn in is really wide. It's better than in the X3.
Yeah, I think we filmed that, right?
Yeah, we filmed that. Oh yeah, indeed. Yeah. And I mean, at 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour. Noise insulation is also fine. It's fine. I'm looking forward to how it is like at higher speeds because there is no lamination in the windows, not available here for this one. So let's see how that one scores at a later stage. But 120, still fine. I would even say it's more silent than the X3 plug-in hybrid we have.
Yeah.
And
it's fine.
I mean, the GLC EQ had the lamination, but I talked about that in the driving part. I didn't find it. I mean, I found it extremely silent up to 100, and then on higher motorway speeds, not so extremely silent as expected. So that I think we have to test it head-to-head again. Yeah, Leah wasn't there. Jonas was joining me on that one. So I think that we have to test again head-to-head. But so far, let's say at normal, non-extreme German motorway speeds, it's fine with the insulation. 130 kilometers an hour.
2 yellow vehicles.
Oh, yellow A3 sedan and yellow Opel Astra or Vauxhall Astra. Interesting. But I like the Astra color more. It's more golden. More golden, right? Let's see.
You're so golden.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we have some Leah singing lessons here as well.
And now we need to stop before the car needs to charge because...
Yeah, someone needs to wee. Yeah, but that's the thing, you know, so the car wouldn't need to stop, but we do. And now it's time for the sport mode. Woo, sport dynamic, and from 100, let's see, let's go.
Woo.
Nice. 170, 180 kilometers an hour. Wow, good acceleration, and the car feels so stable actually. That's yeah, that truck didn't feel that stable though. Gotta say that. And then let's see about the wind noise, where it's still fine.
I think 130, 120.
Yeah, I think, yeah. 140 is also fine still.
Yeah.
So like 80, 90 miles an hour, but above that then it gets low. But I think for most situations that's fine. Yeah, 150,
Yeah.
then the wind noise
But
picks up.
also fine, it's not that loud.
That's fine, yeah. Do you also see the front hood is shaking a little bit at these high speeds?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's about the thin metal there.
Maybe, yeah.
And not sure if it's like a visual illusion, but I think maybe something. Need to investigate that actually. But besides that, if you don't look at that, the car is really, really stable. Extremely stable. Like from the chassis and so on. And so you can easily, I mean, it feels extremely safe also here when I'm doing a lane change and 160 kilometers an hour.
Wow, yeah.
Wow. I mean,
That's cool, yeah.
it brings you so much calmness even at higher speeds. That's
And now
really
the steering wheel is
crazy.
cool, right? With the
that's
thumb here inside.
great,
Yeah.
great control over it. And yeah, and Leah also is super relaxed here.
Yeah.
Even at the higher speeds, that's good. And now here,
Braking.
smooth on the brakes. I mean, this is still recuperation then, right? So in most situations, you don't need the friction brakes. And also here again, I was at really high speed. Then I need to decelerate quite a lot. But that still wasn't applying stress on the body, you know? And so, yes, there's a big battery in here, but you don't feel the extra weight from the battery
it's not
at all.
that usual...
It's not the heavy electric car feeling.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That's crazy. So it
Very cool.
it handled so well. It feels so nice and so calm. Yeah, maybe a little bit calm at very high speeds.
Could be, yeah.
That could be something, you know, when it's on our wish list.
Yeah.
And yeah, since you don't have the air suspension, you don't have the floaty ride. But then again, this rather little bit stiffer ride is of course driving fun.
And for agile driving, it's also good.
Yeah. And it gives you a lot of...
And for my stomach as well.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it doesn't shake, you know, it doesn't do the waves then, but then again, you're being kept, you know, in the vehicle, and also at higher speeds. You're still totally one with the car.
Yeah.
All right, first charging stop. And
Car brings us to...
yeah. So, putting a BMW now at the Mercedes charger. Why did we stop here? Well, we are at 15% of the battery now, SOC. But this was the closest charger now with 400 kilowatt. And this is very important. So there we go. Because this one can do 400 kilowatt. The car was also suggesting us one with 300 kilowatt, which would have also perfectly worked, you know. But we want to show you, of course, like what's the maximum stuff the car is capable of. We have put also this charging station in the GPS. I mean, we have been driving the motorway, the Autobahn now for a couple of hours, but still there's the additional preconditioning. And let's now see like how fast we can charge, like 15 to 80%. And here, just directly jumps to 399 kilowatt. I mean, we plugged in at 15% and just, you know, we were recording the German version also, and then it just hops on so quickly. Wow, 401. That's crazy, crazy. And we will also take a look now here at the Ladedauer. That's like the time. And then, oh, it says even prediction here, 19 minutes to 8. This is the current prediction. So let's see about that. So we have to go here again that we don't lose this statistics. Wow, that's a great result already. And if it's getting cold, getting a little bit chilly, you know, you could just get in the car, you know.
You could, but?
But you can also be outside and
I have a heater here.
use this here as an outside heater. So if you want to enjoy like the view here, evening light or something, and want to stay outside, you can just stay here, and then it's really like an outside heater in a restaurant or something like that. You know, it's like, yeah, that's pretty cool, right? You know, watching the charging curve. So here we had our peak, you know, 400 kilowatt peak. Now we've dropped a little bit towards 300 still. I mean, that's still pretty cool. So if you go back here at 43% and still over 300, there we go. So over 300 kilowatt at 44%. So yes, you cannot hold the peak all the time, but this is already pretty cool. And maybe even more impressive, look at that. In here, 6 minutes, soon 7 minutes, we have charged, there we go. Yeah, it always jumps back. So in about 7 minutes, we have charged 38 kilowatt hours in 7 minutes. And here, next important info, at 65%, it's still remaining over 200 kilowatt. And here, in about, yeah, it's always the same, that it switches in that moment. So 12 minutes, we have charged 58 kilowatt hours. So in 12 minutes, 15 to 66%. Now it dropped below 200 just, but that's really impressive. And here, look at the so far average, 280 kilowatt average so far. And I mean, we're almost at 70%, and this is the average charging here at 280 kilowatt. That is crazy. I think Leah is hiding something. Okay, back there. Yeah, yeah. It's still funny, you know, to have this, you know, Mercedes charging station in the BMW.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go with the GLC EQ then to a BMW charging station.
Yeah, maybe.
Are there dedicated BMW charging stations actually? I mean, they are working with the Ionity network, right? But I think they don't do it, right?
No.
I haven't seen some. Yeah, interesting.
I think so, yeah.
But like one another interesting point is here that we could have easily just recharged like 5, 6, 7 minutes, and that would have already been more than enough to reach our destination. So this would easily just be a fuel stop.
Doesn't matter if you charge at 10% or 20%.
Yeah, that too. You know, if we would start at 10 or 15 or 20, that doesn't matter, because when you directly reach this 400 kilowatt peak at such a station here, that's a matter of seconds. And it's really that we don't need to do 10 to 80% because, you know, like a fuel stop time would have been enough. So you can really say that with this charging speed here, this is like driving a petrol car also on a long journey, if you have such a good charging station.
Yes.
I gotta say that.
Yeah.
And now we're closing into the 80%. Now it has dropped. It's still above 100 kilowatt, but yeah, almost there. So let's see here. This is the charging curve. There we go. So there it kept dropping, but it's still like on a very high level. Average is still 250 almost. And yeah, so basically we almost made it. So like 15 or 16 to 80%. Let's go back again. So in about 18 minutes. That is pretty good result. And we could have been even quicker, as I said, if we cancel like at 60% or so. And for most destinations, it would have been enough. There we go. Looks always very cool, right? With the animation in front. Reached our destination. And the cool thing is here in this hotel basement garage, we can then directly charge again, and we can start like when going back directly with 100%. And the good thing is here, even if the luggage would be still in the back, here easy to access the front. Then there's the charging cable underneath, and you have to release it from the inside though, like the top hood. So there's no like easy mechanism like with the competitors. So now we just had a nice breakfast in our favorite hotel here in Berlin, and they also have this nice yacht here. Almost looks like I'm in the jungle. How did we drive to Berlin now? We basically had no upper limit. So sometimes we were also driving like 160, 170 kilometers an hour. Not for a very long time, because usually that's hardly possible in Germany when you drive during the day. So unlimited Autobahn speed is often possible when there's hardly any traffic and when you have the Autobahn routes which are not, in heavy traffic at all, but between Berlin and West Germany, there are some minor parts, but you cannot drive it like for hours and hours and hours all the time. But we did not limit ourselves, so we drove quite quickly overall. Total amount of today, because the car first came to us in the morning, over 800 kilometers only on this day, over 500 miles and 173 kilowatt hours used. And the total average then is here about 21 kilowatt hours on 100 kilometers, so like 3 miles per kilowatt hour. But we started with these consumption tests that we can also give you an insight on that. And the interesting thing here was now, last time we had 22-inch wheels and it was a little bit colder. Now it was a little bit warmer. It's still, the sun is right out now. Yes, it's sunny, but it's still cold, so but it's not that warm. But still, the difference then between cold and high temperature or higher temperatures with the electric vehicles is sometimes people forget that the air is more dense in winter times and in summertime it's less dense. And this air density also leads to high consumption and of course heating the battery and heating the cabin. So these three factors of course play a major role. But here it's also a big point that we had the 20-inch aero wheels. And overall then, the consumption difference was huge. And that was really surprising to me. So last time we had at 100 kilometers an hour, 20 kilowatt hours consumption with the 22, and at 130 kilometers an hour, 25 kilowatt hours. This time we had 16 and 22. So we had 4 kilowatt hours less in the first case and 3 kilowatt hours less per 100 kilometers in the second case. So here with the 20-inch wheels at 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour, 16 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's extremely efficient. That's awesome. That would mean at that speed, a real world range is like 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour, the consumption, real world range of 680 kilometers or 425 miles at 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour. That's really amazing, especially for an SUV. And then at 130 kilometers an hour, 80 miles per hour, we had 22 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer or 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour. In that case, real world range of about 500 kilometers or over 300 miles at 130 kilometers an hour or 80 miles an hour. That's really cool. So great results. And I have these, like the exact consumption data, and that you can also compare it to the 22-inch wheels. I put it also in the video description and also in the data comment that you can read that. But clearly the message is here. If you buy this vehicle and really want long range, you have to get the 20-inch aero wheels. It makes a huge difference, definitely. And I think you will have more fun driving this car longer than you have fun looking at, maybe the larger wheels look better or something like that, So this is a very crucial finding here today. And definitely for us is if we buy the iX3, as the next one after our X3 plug-in, we would definitely go with these 20-inch aero wheels because we appreciate that we can just go, and go. And that also works at some higher speeds. So that is really, really astonishing. So wow, really, really impressed with that. And based on that now, we can really say we can try to go the way back. Let's say we limit ourselves to maximum 130. That doesn't mean that the average will be 130 because that wouldn't work. But that, in cases where we can drive 130 kilometers an hour, 80 miles an hour, we'll do it. And pretty cool, we can even park and charge directly at the Brandenburg gate. So with the basement garage here for the Adlon Hotel, a very famous hotel. We're not in that hotel, it's too expensive. It's also very expensive to park here, but at least you can also charge here, that's good. Unless you have a petrol Ferrari or a petrol Rolls-Royce, then you also just block the charging ports here. So that is a very good example of what not to do.
Yay, we're here!
Made it. There it is, the next gate, the Brandenburg gate, the, listen and repeat, Brandenburger Tor, which means Brandenburg gate. Yeah. That's an easy one, right?
And only with one charging stop.
Only one charging stop, and even that one could have been shorter, actually. So everything, especially what because of the assistance systems and so on, was really relaxing actually. So no problem at all. And we are always happy to be in Berlin. It's a great city. And the thing is, I'm always, because I'm very interested in history, I also studied part-time history, and when I see like the iconic stuff like the Brandenburg Gate here, for me Berlin is always like a mix of like the worst and the best of Germany.
Yes,
Because also here this gate and many other main sites here really saw the worst and darkest times of German history, but also the brightest times, you know. So behind us you also can see like these, they have like some stones in the ground where the Berlin Wall was actually, the gate here was basically in the middle of it, also divided then these two countries for 28 years, from 1961 to 1989. Well, that was where the wall was dividing. It was divided even longer, but 28
Thomas
years.
is also my history teacher at home. Yeah.
Yeah, so the wall was for 28 years, and really like families were separated, and the one side living under dictatorship, and that's what was a really tough time. But at the same time, you know, so from here also like the fate of the world was connected to this city here, and that's what it's making so interesting. And of course, modern things, you know, like great food from all over the world. We always love to visit
Lovely people.
different
from
restaurants,
all
lovely
over
people.
the world. Yes.
And many tourists come here, of course, from all over the world. And I think the most important thing about the vibe in Berlin is that you can come here no matter like where you're born, where you're from, how you look like, who you love. It doesn't matter, and no one cares, you know. So you're not judged by how you look or what you do. And this is a great thing, actually.
Yep.
There are also bad things like highest car theft rate in Germany.
Oh.
So you better be careful. That's why we're also in that basement garage, for example. This is completely crazy here now. So we are like just walking here, and now
That was
there it is.
the.
We just passed the wall, actually.
That's
We
crazy.
just literally walked over the Berlin Wall where it used to be. That's a harsh light. You can hardly see my eyes meanwhile because the sun is like.
So bright.
Well, it's 3 o'clock actually. It's quite late already. Yeah, but here, of course, behind us, the Reichstag. That's the building, and this is where the Bundestag actually resides. The Bundestag is the German parliament. So Reichstag, the name of the building. Bundestag, name of the German parliament. And yeah, you see the glass top there. You can visit it. We've been here together like I think 4 years, 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
We don't
It was
go.
our first trip here.
Yeah, when the first trip to
Maybe that's
Berlin.
because it's so important to us here. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe that. Yeah, we're quite often here, but we don't always go to the top. You have to buy tickets for that, but you can actually.
It's nice. Nice
It's
view
really
from
nice.
there, yeah.
It's really nice actually, and the glass top designed by Sir Norman Foster. So that's also a thing, you know. Of course, like basically a UK heart on top of the German government building. Yeah, and I think like we Germans, we are still very grateful for like today. You know, they are all our allies, but at that point, our today's allies, they sacrificed their lives for our freedom, and we're still very grateful for that. I can stand here right now and say what I want about our chancellor, and I won't go to jail for that, you know. So this to me actually one of the most important things in our life, which so many people take for granted, you know, but it's not. It's actually not. Yeah, and this is also Berlin here, relaxing alongside the Spree River. It's really cool and nice weather. This is the train station, main train station, opposite side of the river here, and you can even sit in the sun, almost like at the beach actually. So that's pretty cool.
Yay, I'm driving now.
Now it's Leah's time to drive, and we want to hear more about, you know, like what she actually has to say. And well, actually, she's not driving because again the car is just driving itself.
That's so cool. Yeah, let's step up the game because the iX3 from us, it's not that good.
The X3.
X3 from us. Yeah.
She's already talking as we would own the car. That's dangerous. That's dangerous.
I want that one here. It's really cool.
So you think it's better than the X3 plug-in hybrid?
Yeah. Comfort is, I think, better in the GSC because of the suspension, because of the air suspension. But here, when the road is even and everything is fine, then you don't care about it. But yeah, would be cool if you had,
Yeah, potholes, cobblestones, and the suspension is a little bit roughy. But then again, you get this unity.
Yes,
of driver
and it's sporty in the corners. That's cool with the steering wheel here with the thumbs in it. Yeah, I'm a little racer.
She's actually driving faster than I do usually. You wouldn't expect it, but it's true. It's true. Busted.
And now, lane change. Okay.
Because the construction site.
Maybe because of that.
Yeah, it doesn't do like the thing in the construction site, then because I think we are approaching construction site. But yeah.
Seating comfort is also very nice. I love it, but could be a seat ventilation.
That
would be nice. Yeah.
What about the steering feeling itself?
It's light but direct. You know what to do when you sit in. Then you're like, okay, no, I'm ready to drive it. Yeah, so much fun, really. Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's definitely a good sign for a car, because Leah's also has become very critical, with car. So like a really car critic, so to speak. So that's definitely a good stem for the iX3. So I'm also looking even more forward to what she will have to say about the GLC EQ and the EX60 when we drive these very soon together. Then, so I mean, the light steering is also very important for you. That it's light to control, but at the same time it has good feeling.
Yes. And it's easy to control here because everything has a button, not a real button, but you know what to do here with that one. It's easy to start that. Yeah.
And I also got the feeling like, I mean, I'm used to drive new cars every day since like 15, 20 years. But for Leah, when she gets like a new car, of course, she doesn't have so much experience with changing vehicles.
Yeah.
But here she was like starting to drive and immediately like felt at home. I was thinking like she was driving as like she has driven this car like for 10 years, So at least that's what I my impression.
I felt it too. Yeah, that's I agree. Yeah. I'm happy. Yeah.
Any wishes? Yeah, air suspension,
seat ventilation. That would be nice. And the 360 camera thing.
Yeah, this was very interesting because this very vehicle is not equipped with everything. It doesn't have head-up display, it doesn't have 360-degree camera. So that is one thing. You need the 360-degree camera for this vehicle.
That's really important, yeah.
So we finally found a vehicle from BMW. I think it's a good move that doesn't have all the specs. So then you can give better tips for you, like which features don't care about it, but which ones do you really need? And the 360-degree camera, you should definitely have the click on that when configuring.
And the 20-inch wheels, that's really, really needed for comfort.
So we already drove out of the city now, and now the GPS says, because we already covered a few kilometers now, still 520 kilometers left, and the prediction in the car says now 500 kilometers it can do. Of course, it was like with the average where we drove also faster and so on. So let's see if that still works now, going home without a charge in between. Let's see about that. Yay, we arrived. we made it. Now in the dark basement garage, and Leah did a very great job actually. Now she's very tired.
Yeah.
But this is actually the longest the longest range Leah has ever covered in the vehicle, because the iX3 also helped her and she could relax a little bit with this hands-off feature here.
That's true.
And we really did it like also without doing any break, because we went to the toilet right before one more time, and then we actually really made it through. Wanted to make this test here, and like the figures here are really crazy, really crazy, and shown in the panoramic vision in the front, but also in the infotainment. So panoramic vision here says we have covered now 530 kilometers, and there
10% left.
10% battery and 62 kilometers left. So we could have done here 590 kilometers, or it's like 370 miles overall, but that's really like 100 to 0. It's always good to have somewhat of a buffer, but this was easily possible now. And the way we drove was really, we drove always 130 kilometers an hour, 80 miles an hour, when it was possible. But sometimes there was construction site. Once there was like a closure on the road where you had to go off, go on again. And we also had some city traffic at the beginning and some small city traffic like at the end. So the overall average here is 100 kilometers an hour average speed. And we have the total consumption of 18 kilowatt hours on 100 kilometers. And that's looking at my clever list, you know, always well prepared. So 18 kilowatt hours on 1 kilometer is 3.45 miles per kilowatt hour. That's really amazing. That's really, really cool. Why is the result slightly worse than before when we tested 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour? Because that was reset and then only 100 kilometers an hour. Now, in this 100 kilometers an hour, there's also some slower city traffic, but there's also a lot of 130 kilometers an hour in there. That's why the value here is worse, but still, it's really great. So
and it was fun to drive.
That's cool. That's good. I mean, even that, you know, and here the overall consumption, we used 96 kilowatt hours from that battery, and 94, almost 95%. It was just the powertrain. Why should you be afraid of driving an EV right now? You know, this was actually an even better experience, gotta say that. Yeah, what is there to improve? I mentioned it. You have this unified feeling of the vehicle and it's drives very sporty, but of the course of being a little bit rough. With the 20-inch wheels, it's the best driving experience you can get. You should get 20-inch wheels for range and for comfort, but still, like the GLC EQ would drive softer with the air suspension, or when the Volvo EX60 has the optional air suspension, but only if they have this optional air suspension, otherwise it probably won't make the biggest difference there. So air suspension, we would wish that. Then laminated windows would be cool to get the noise level even more down. I mean, up to 130 kilometers an hour, it's fine. And most people worldwide will not use this car at higher speeds. And that also leads to the next critical thing. At about 150 kilometers an hour, the front hood starts to shake a little bit. 93 miles is that. The front hood starts shaking a little bit. Not sure if the metal is too thin. We had the same, by the way, with the Lexus RZ in the latest generation. And what's happening to the front hood? BMW says, yes, indeed, it is actually pretty thin at this moment because for the pedestrian safety. That's a very crucial point. So at this moment, it's trimmed on maximum pedestrian safety. And then this goal conflict is that it's, you know, a little bit shaking at very, very high speeds. And now they're looking into that with that feedback and say they want to hit the spot even better, that it still fits the regulations for pedestrian safety, but they make it a little bit thicker, that it doesn't shake anymore. You know, it's more like a cosmetic problem. It still shouldn't be, but it's interesting that they kind of know there is this goal conflict, and then you have to hit that very fine line where both things are basically fulfilled. Yeah, very interesting. Here, this one was equipped with a bass sound system. Do not get the bass sound system unless you're listening to radio only. That's fine. If you really want to listen to proper your music, you have to get the Harman Kardon sound system here. And you have to get the 360-degree camera. It's a must for this vehicle. This is also not equipped with that, but it was very interesting to get a vehicle from BMW that's not equipped with everything, that you can check out, hey, what do you need and what you maybe don't need. So that was also a super, super interesting insight. And we have more, of course, from the iX3 and the GLC EQ and the EX60.